So my TOPIK score came out a few days ago. We're headed to a Jimjibang, which is a Korean bathhouse, to talk about it. So I'll see you there.
You flip this thing. Alright, so we made it. So the first time I took the TOPIK test was in late 2024. Going into that test, my goal was to get level 5. Level 5 being 190 points out of 300. I ended up getting 161 out of 300, which was pretty far off from level 5. The first time around, I think I underestimated the importance of test-taking skills. Even though I'd been studying Korean for quite a long time going into the test, I hadn't really taken it seriously for very long, only about 2 years at that time. And I hadn't done any TOPIK specific studying. So I did around 2 months of TOPIK study. So I knew going into the second test, the place that I could improve the most was writing. And if I wanted to succeed, I needed to get better at writing. The second attempt was in early 2026, early this year, January 11th to be specific is when I took the test. And between the two tests was roughly 14 months, I think. My goal going into it this time was to get level 6, which requires 230 points out of 300. I ended up getting 227 points out of 300. So 3 points away from level 6, which is obviously super disappointing and heartbreaking. This is my reaction when I saw my score for the first time. Let's see. I'm a little nervous. Let's check. Oh, good. Damn. What was my score? 227 out of 300. God damn! God damn! Yeah, it was rough. I am still quite disappointed about it. That's why I didn't make this video immediately, is because I wanted to have some time to think about what had happened. So anyways, my scores overall improved a lot, significantly. My listening improved about 28 points. Writing also 28 points, which is a huge improvement in writing. And then my reading improved by 10 points. My reading was already my highest score, so now it's still pretty high. All of these are above average, the average score. But overall, between test 1 and 2, I increased my score by 66 points. Even though I wasn't able to get the score that I wanted to share this video because I don't want to come off as like someone who's perfect at Korean or an expert. I just want to show like my learning process, show myself as a student rather than an expert on the topic. I also want to thank everyone on my recent videos who've supported me and watched the video. It's crazy to me to even think that anyone watches my videos at all, and so the fact that some people watch and comment and subscribe and all that, I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you. So how did I study for the TOPIK test this time around? After the first attempt in 2024, I watched about 600 hours of Korean content, mostly K-dramas and Korean variety shows. I was already doing that before the first test, but after the first attempt, I really kicked it up a notch and started watching much more. And then 4 months before the test, I decided to start doing TOPIK writing practice, specifically writing practice, only writing practice pretty much, because my score was so low comparatively to the other scores, so I wanted to improve that. So I made an account on Amazing Talker, which is a tutoring app. Started doing tutoring sessions with my teacher, shout out Yujin Sim. So yeah, I did those tutoring sessions once a week, and they're 1 hour long. I probably did about 20 of those before the test, sometimes twice a week, most of the time once a week. And they were very helpful, helping me create a strategy for the writing portion, a template for writing that I could fill in the information, any information from any writing prompt. So that was good. I highly recommend Amazing Talker if you're doing TOPIK specific writing practice or any Korean practice. In addition to tutoring, I had some textbooks that I did writing practice every day, even on weekends, on holidays, and even on my birthday. The first one was a writing textbook that I used. I completed everything in this one. It was super useful for helping me to have material to write about, because that's one thing, is that if you're writing every day, it can be hard to find material every day. There's not a whole lot online in terms of materials you can find for writing practice. This textbook was really helpful. I did all of the activities inside of it. I think it helped me a lot. I would recommend this one. The second textbook I bought a little closer to the test because I wanted to get a textbook to help me with the other portions as well. The first time around I took the test, I used this textbook. I liked it a lot because it has audio files and it's actually very similar to the actual test. So I bought a similar book from the same company. I wasn't able to complete it before the test, but I focused only on the TOPIK level 5 and level 6 portions, and it was very helpful. I think just before the test, getting familiar again with the other portions and developing a strategy for the reading and listening portion as well. The audio files are very similar to the actual test, and so I actually highly recommend these kinds of textbooks in addition to the writing textbook. That's one weakness I think the general textbooks have, is they don't have much writing material. So if you actually want to practice writing specifically, you probably need to invest in one of the other textbooks. For my writing practice, I used Google Docs a lot, and I also used Wongoji, which is like Korean square manuscript paper. I tried to use that as much as possible because that's what you write on the exam. Sorry for the loud noises behind me. It sounds like there's a vacuum going, so excuse that. So when I was studying, I went to the library and to the cafe every day. If I study at home, oftentimes I get really distracted and watch YouTube way longer than I should. So I went to the cafe quite a bit. Please stop, vacuum lady. I guess I'll wait. Okay, I think the vacuum stopped. And for the days that I didn't have tutoring, I would use ChatGPT a lot to help me evaluate my writing, and it gives immediate feedback, obviously, so it was very helpful. I think without ChatGPT or AI in general, I wouldn't have been able to get the score that I got. But there are some drawbacks to using AI. Sometimes AI gives false information. Before you make any major changes to your strategy, double check with a native. I started using Anki and sentence mining during this process. Overall, I made around 600 full sentence flashcards. I would write full sentences and then highlight the unknown word portion. And I think that's different from how most people do it, because I don't like making flashcards that are like just the word and definition. I find that when I have the context of an actual sentence using the word that I don't know, it's helpful for long-term memory, so I like that a lot. And also, I was living in Korea the whole time, so I also continued my weekly language exchange with my friends, but to be honest, that helps a lot with speaking, but there's no speaking portion on the TOPIK test, so it wasn't super helpful for the test. In general, it's very helpful, but not for the test. If I could go back, what would I change about the process? I think I would have started a month earlier, or somehow had about a month more time to study. Originally, the plan was to take the test in February, so that would have gave me another month to study, but the reason I even decided to take the test in the first place was because I'm applying to the GKS scholarship, which is Global Korea Scholarship. If I wanted the results before the application period ended for the scholarship, I had to take it in January. I'm pretty confident that if I had another month, I could have gotten 3 more points and gotten level 6. Thankfully, GKS values level 5 and level 6 the same, so if I got level 6 or level 5, it doesn't matter. They get the same amount of points in the application process. So in that regard, I'm satisfied with my result. If I had more time, I think I would read more and focus on vocabulary and input. It's my belief that input is the fuel for your output. So listening improves your speaking and reading improves your writing. I did read a lot of news articles, but if I had more time, I think I would just read more. And also, I think this is something that people don't often think about when it comes to language tests and performance in general, performance anxiety. So if I could go back, I would find a way to reduce my performance anxiety. I have no doubt that this had an effect on my performance on the test, because the day before my real test, I took a mock test and I got 246 out of 300. Of course, that's ChatGPT's grading, so I don't know if that would be the real score I got, and I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. I was definitely anxious and nervous going into the test, so. On top of that, the testing facility was really cold, and before we even came into test, I had to wait outside in a line in the sub-freezing temperatures for about like 45 minutes, so that didn't help. It wasn't warm in the class until like 2 hours into the test. I get really cold easily, so it was difficult for me. So yeah, next time maybe take the test in the summer, try to learn some sort of meditation routine or something like that. I don't know. At this point, I'm unsure if taking the TOPIK test again is worth it for me. In general, I'm not a huge fan of language tests. They often focus on like overly complex academic portions of any language, especially Korean, is definitely the case. Oftentimes when you're studying, it feels like, do you want to be good at Korean or do you want to be good at taking the TOPIK test? For me, I don't really care about the TOPIK test. It's just that a lot of things require a higher score. But now that I have level 5, I think that's good enough for most things. Anything that I want to do right now is level 5 is good enough. But from an ego point of view, quitting right before the finish line, 3 points away, obviously that feels like a huge punch in the guts. I almost wish I did worse, because if I got like 220 or 210 out of 300, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really that close to level 6. But because I got 227 out of 300, 3 points away from the goal that I wanted to achieve, it's like, I can't imagine something worse than that when it comes to taking the TOPIK test. It's like the worst result I could have wished for. I want to have fun studying Korean. I don't want Korean to feel like a chore, you know? More than anything, I want to spend more time interacting with people, not spending hours grinding over textbooks. So will I take the test again? Yes. Unfortunately, 3 points away is too close to level 6 to give up. So yeah, I'm going to take it again. Anyways, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you want to check out my favorite video that I made so far, check out this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.